Okay, let's get started. So the first thing I would like to share is the cultural concept, the relationship between the language and the culture. For example, like in Spanish, there's different particles or preposition words for males and females, right? So how the language forms from the culture or can be influenced by the culture. And then here's the example in Chinese. As you can see from the picture, the culture is well illustrated in the Chinese characters. The left character is nan, it means male. How nan, the character is formed? Take a look. Nan, so the upper part it looks like what? It looks like farm, a farm or a field, right? Farmland, what we would say farmland. I can zoom a little bit more so you can have a clear picture. So the upper part, it looks like a farmland, the field. And then the bottom part, it looks like what? Originally is from like the tool, the bottom part. The tool that you use to do the farm work. It's like your arm is holding the tool. So it indicates the culture in the old days that men, what? The men go out to work. The men go out to work in the farmland. That's from the old days. And that's how the character, how the Chinese language is formed. And as you may know or may not know, like Chinese characters has 1,000, 2,000 years of history. And we're still using the character nowadays. So that's nan, that means man in Chinese. Next character is ni. Ni. What do you see in the picture? You see a woman kneels down. So what does it indicate or reflect the culture? In the old days, right, it means that the women have lower social status than men. And like in the old days, women, they have to kneel down or to bow to men or to the king. So that's how the character is formed. It means women. So women have lower social status in the old days. So that's the point I would like to explain, that how the language forms from and get influenced by the culture. Another example can be the address. So how Chinese language is formed, or how it works, or how the sentence order works, it follows the order in Chinese: big to small, general to specific, collective to individual. Take the address for example. So in the United States, the address is what? How do you write the address? So you will write the street name, right? You write the street name first, then the town, then the city, then the state, and then maybe the country, United States. But in Chinese, it's totally the opposite. Recall to the point that I just said. So in Chinese, the sentence order or the language order usually follows what? Big to small. So big concept to smaller concept. General to specific. Collective to individual. How Chinese people write the address? It will start with what? It will start from the country first. So country first, then the province, which is like state in the United States. So country, province, or state, then the city, then the town, then the street name. Because street name is what? It's more specific. That's why we put the street name last. So general to specific or big to small. Another example can be the name. American people will put what? The given name first. So that's why the given name is also called first name. They'll put the family name last. So that's also we say last name. Last name. For the given name, it represents oneself. It represents the individual. However, for the family name, it represents a group because all your family members will share the same family name. In China, and remember the order: big to small, general to specific, collective to individual. So for the collective to individual, it's like country comes first, family comes first, then the individual. So for the name orders in Chinese, it will be the family name comes first, not the given name. It's the family name comes first, then the given name. So it's always go back to the order. Big to small, general to specific, collective to individual. Even when you have to make a choice on something, you have to always think about the country first, the family first, then yourself later. So it's different because in the Western countries or in the United States, it's like the personal right, personal freedom, self-expression is more important. But in China, it's the family, the collectivism comes first. So that's how the culture and language, like they kind of like influenced by each other. Got it? Another thing I'd like to share is the strategies to learn a language, especially for beginners, especially for the pronunciation. And I'll give you a demonstration by learning the vowels while I'm giving you the strategies. We are going to do some fun activities too. Do you have your pen or pencil and paper ready? It's because you're going to learn. So the first vowel we are going to learn is Number one strategy is when you learn a new language, no matter the phonetics, pronunciations, whatever, try to associate the sound of the target language, which means the language you are learning, with your native language. Associate the sounds with any familiar sounds that you know in your native language, or any familiar sound from the nature or from daily life, okay? So for example, if I had to associate with the English, because I teach Chinese students, English is a foreign language, and I will associate the Chinese with the English AH, because in English, AH does pronounce right? So and another way I can associate the sound, it can be someone stab me, or I get hurt, something sharp, and then or I get horrified by something, I'm scared, and then So that's how I associate the sound. So if you find a way, you find your own way to associate a new language, a new sound, a new pronunciation with some sound that you're familiar with, it will stick in your head. So that's the example, association. And then the second method, the second strategy I will use is the unscramble the words. For example, is like the A in bar, but without the R sound. Why I cross this? Because the Chinese doesn't have the R sound. There's no R sound. No. That's why I cross this out. But I cannot just write BA. It doesn't make sense in English, right? So that's what I call unscramble, the unscramble method. So you underline this, but you cross the R sound. The R, which means like there's no R sound in the R, but it's like in bar without the R sound. So it's or it's like the in father, father. So father, so in father. Got it? We can do more practice. What's the first word? What's one of the first words that baby will learn? And almost sounds similar in every language. That will be the word mom. So mom in Chinese is mama, mama. And then another word will be ai, ai. So that's the first vowel. The second vowel will be O. So for the vowel, usually also relate to the mouth shape, the mouth shape. Look at the So the you open your mouth big. And then for the O sound, you open your mouth like it's a zero shape. Zero shape, the O shape. O, open your mouth like what? Open your mouth like O. And how I associate the sound? Maybe you can see, I took the notes here. It sounds like rooster sound. So rooster crows, oh, oh, oh. So there's oh, that's how I associate. So oh sounds like rooster sound. Rooster crows, oh, 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 oh. And for the unscramble method, it's like oh in torture without the R sound, without the R sound. Or it's like octopus, oh, octopus. It's like oh in octopus. That's the unscramble method. Okay? So for the vowels pronunciation, sometimes you can what? Relate to how it is written. That's how your mouth should, the mouth shape. And associate with the rooster sound, or you can associate with any sound you're familiar with, okay? It doesn't have to be my way. It can be any sounds that you're familiar with. Use your imagination, use your association. And then unscramble method, unscramble method. And here's the phrase. 波浪 波 o 波 波 了 ang 浪 波浪 波浪. Now let's get to this. So this is like your mouth is half open, okay? Half open. You'll be like, this is how I associate. It sounds like hiccups. So I can associate with the hiccups to that, hiccup sound. Or like you in okay. So when I associate the sound, I associate with the hiccups. So and then for the unscramble method, yeah, like for example, in bird but without the R sound. Okay, or in bird without the R sound. Or in shirt, or in teacher, ER without the R sound. Or like some people say maybe in some EA or sir. Yeah, so that's the unscramble method. You got it. So that's that's little words. Because in English, you also have the sound. And when I teach my kids, I will relate to this, is that the same one? Is that the pronunciation? Means hungry. Means hungry. So I will ask my students, oh, 你饿了吗? Are you hungry? 你饿了吗? And I expect to hear their response to me. It's like, I'm hungry. So, okay. 你饿了吗? 你饿了吗? Are you hungry? 你饿了吗? I'm hungry, super hungry. So that's sound. So that's the third vowel. And then fourth vowel. Earlier is half open. And this is smile or forced smile. So the shape is like smile face. And is like what? Double E, unscramble method. Double E in feet. Double E in feet. Or in teeth. Or double E in teeth. Double E in feet or teeth. Or EA in T. T. Smile shape. And why also pronounce E? Why the consonant also pronounce E? So E means one. E. Or 衣服 衣服, 衣服. So that's the yi sound. It doesn't pronounce you, okay? It pronounces wu, wu. Ow, wu, Yes, train, owl. Oh, all those answers, all those comments are great. Yeah, you're finding your way. You're finding your way. That's good. Like, woohoo! Okay, so for me, I associate with the train. Yeah, when the train is approaching, it's like, woo. The train is approaching. Woo. So that's woo sound. Woo, woo. What about like for the mouth shape? It's kind of like kissing mouth. Woo, woo, woo. It's like double O in foot. Double O in foot or double O in tooth. So woo, woo. Okay, here's the words we are going to practice. Wu by itself, W in Chinese. It also pronounced wu. W also pronounced wu. Wu hei also means black. Wu, black. Or wu hei. Wu hei, black. And then wu ya, crow. Wu ya means crow. Because crow is what? It's a black bird. Wu ya is a black bird, right? The crow is a black bird. And then wu ya, because crow yells what? Ah, 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 ah. So it sounds like asa. So in Chinese, that's what is wu ya, wu ya, wu ya. The last vowel. This can be challenging. This is the last vowel because we don't have this in English, right? There's no such letter in English. And I cannot find any sound really pronounced like this. Maybe there's similar sounds, but not exactly the same. Okay, so this is, the shape is like fish mouth, fish mouth. So imagine, like, think about like how the fish tries to breathe. So fish lips or fish mouth. So you pot your lips and think about fish mouth or fish lips. You, that's a you sound. And here's something you should pay attention to. There's a rule. So when you follows JQXY in Chinese, of course. When you follows JQXY, the dots disappear. The dots disappear. You see, I crossed the dot. So if the dots disappear, and then it will be written like what? The written form will be like the wu. However, it doesn't pronounce wu, even though the dots disappear and it's written as wu, it doesn't pronounce wu, it still pronounces itself. It still pronounces itself, yi, yi. Okay, so when you see JQXY, this becomes wu, the written form becomes wu, but it still pronounces itself, yi. For example, ta-da, the fish. You see the dots disappear, but it doesn't pronounce wu, it pronounces yu. So it will be yu, yu, the fish, yu, fish, yu. And then, as you can see here, green, color green, li, se. You see the dot is still there because it's L. It's not JQXY, it's L. So the dots are still there. So it's li, se, li, se. Li, se means green, li, se, green. Do you get it? Let's read them together. Yu, yu, yu. And then 绿色.绿色 means green, like this green screen. Green screen, huh? 绿色, 绿色, 绿色. Good? Okay, let's continue with the tones. I'm going to share my PowerPoint with you. Okay, so in Chinese, it is always very important to pronounce the characters and words with correct tones. If you messed up with the tones, that means totally different things, totally different. Okay, and in transliterated Chinese, tone markings like tonal marks are written over the central vowels in most syllables. Some syllables have no specific tones and then no signs above any vowel, or is called neutral tone. So for the neutral tone, there's no tonal marks. Because the neutral tones, like it change, it varies, it depends which vowels, which tonal vowels it goes with, and then the neutral tones will change the sounds. Okay, so there are 4 tones and a nature tone in Chinese. So we can say there are 5 tones in Chinese, but the neutral tone doesn't have any tonal marks. Let's look at the first tone. Here is the musical note and how the tonal sound, the volume, is related, okay? As you can see the tonal marks, let's look at the first tonal marks. The first tonal marks. Okay, let me use the highlighter. So first tonal marks, here's the first tonal marks. What does it look like? Because the tones is related. We all know like tonal marks represent the volume or represent how you should pronounce the tone. So the first tone is what? A flat line. Flat line. So when you pronounce the first tone, it should be flat, no change. It should be consistently the same volume, because it's what? Flat line means flat, no change, staying constant. For example, we can use as an example. So if there's a first tone, how do we pronounce this? It will be no change. You cannot say oh, you change it a lot. No. So is no change. And then let's look at the second tone. The second tonal marks. It goes up, right? It goes up like you're climbing up, you're hiking, you're climbing up. So you what? You increase your volume as you pronounce the second tone. And what I would say is a rising tone, rising tone. If you can relate to my English, it's so difficult. How do I increase my volume? It's like when you have a question, when you're confused. And then what would you say? You would say, what? What? You increase your volume. So for the second tone, if you put the second tone for the it will be Okay, you got it? Then the third tone. The third tone is the most challenging one for Chinese learners. I have taught so many students and I know third tone is the most challenging. Okay, it's not like, oh, the second tone, you increase volume and that's it. Or like, oh, first tone, you stay the same, that's it. Or like the fourth tone will be like angry tone, stress tone, like, oh, you are mad, you are angry. So you yell, and then there will be fourth tone, and that's it. But for the third tone, there's a turning point. You see the turning point is here. So it goes down, then it goes up. Yes. So it's like the waves. It's like the waves. Or you can use your body language to help you when you pronounce the third tone. When you pronounce the third tone. Let's use as you move your body. Like the tonal marks. It's like you move your body and then you see the sound. there should be a turning point because a lot of Chinese learners will pronounce like, it sounds like second tone, but it's not. It's third tone. So it goes down and then up. So, okay. Good. So that's the third tone. And then fourth tone, like I said earlier, third tone is like what? Yes, yes. Or you're angry, you're mad, or you want to yell. So it's like yelling. Let's use put the fourth tone. It'll be you're angry. Let your voice out. Good. So that's the fourth tone. And then this is how you can relate to if you need English, like to help you to associate with the tones. For the first tone, you can relate to the English. It's like or it's like the state. If I can relate to state or mood, like calm down. You're peaceful. Peaceful sound, calm. You say it with a calm tone. And then for the second tone, like, what? What are you talking about? What? You're confused, you're shocked, you're in disbelief. So that's like the second tone sound. And for the third tone, the most challenging one. What I can relate to is like, I'm hesitating to say something, or I forced to agree with something, or compromising tone. Compromise. It's like, well, okay, fine. You're compromising. You're not willing. An unwilling sound. What I would say, yeah, the third tone. Or you can use your body language to help you. Well, okay. So the third tone changes. I should be heard the turning point. So when you pronounce the third tone, there should be a turning point in your sound. Some Chinese learners, they think they pronounce the third tone, but when I hear it, I don't hear the turning point sound. So it's not exact the third tone yet. Make sure when you pronounce the third tone, there's a turning point. It goes down and up. And then for the fourth tone, no, out, go. You're angry. Are you good here? Okay, let me pull up another PowerPoint. Do a quick review. Open your mouth like this cute cartoon character. Okay? Mama. And then the rooster. Rooster. The sound. Rooster. And then the sound. Okay? The sound. Think about like how you should open your mouth. Look at the vowel shape. How it's written. That's how you should form your mouth. Good. Now let's practice the tones. Read after me. And the first tone is The second tone, it goes up. Good. And then the third tone, use your body language to help you. Okay. Or you are not comfortable moving your body, you can move your head. So you'll be like, okay? Good? And then fourth tone. Now, angry, you're angry. You're yelling. So that's the fourth tone. And let's practice four tones together. Now the O sound, okay? You shape. O, O, both tone together. O, O, O. Oh, let me hear you. O, O, O. Oh, now it's the sound. Half open. One more time. Hungry. I'm hungry. Now the Yi. So for smile, smile shape. Yi. Okay. Ma yi means end. Ma yi. And then woo. The train is approaching. Woo. Okay. So woo. Woo. And then the fish mouth. Fish mouth. Yi. Yi. Yeah. So you can practice. Now let me take 2 minutes to see if there's any questions. Okay. I see there's some. Okay. So currently I teach full-time at a charter school, and I also teach special forces part-time. And I have been working with TakeLessons for 3 years, and I really enjoy the platform. So if you're interested in learning Chinese, feel free to book lessons with me. Okay, so let's call it a day. Bye. 再见。